Got a minute? I'll teach you about neural networks. Why does everyone use these stupid images? They don't teach you anything. So you got these neurons. The weights are the thing that accumulates over time. The bias is a setting. Every time we activate the neuron, we compute a weighted sum. The dot product is multiplying an array by an array, element by element. So we get the dot product of the input against the weights plus the bias. The bias just helps us break ties to left or right. That's all it really does. All this neuron really does is output a 1 or a 0. So we use what's called a sigmoid function to multiply the data and turn it into either something that's closer to 0 or closer to 1 in a really definitive way, rather than some unbounded integer. So this last part really just takes whatever number you got out of the weighted sum and puts it into a number that is between 1 and 0, so that it's like a probability. So these neurons are arranged into layers. Layers are really just a container class that activates neurons. It just loops over the neurons, basically. A neural network is just a bunch of layers that get activated, so it's really just a nested loop for all the neurons. So they work together like this. All these visualizations are about the communication between the neurons, not what they do. So to train it, you pass it inputs, but you need to have expectations about what it's supposed to give you, and then give it the expectations. Then you need to give it feedback. How far off is it from what you expected? So you get the last layer. Then you update the weights in the last layer for every neuron. So we can teach it something like AND as an operation. The outputs are the expected outputs, right? And only the last one is AND true. So we create a neuron with random weights, create a single layer neural network, then we run the training function by showing it the training data 1,000 times. Eventually it should be able to predict. Okay, I don't know if you know neural networks now, but you know about them. Go make some brains.